Hello everyone. This is Mara. Today, same day, second video. Lucky you guys. We are gonna go about my experience that I wanted to share yesterday, but I didn't. And we're gonna share it today about me changing the SSD, upgrading to 2 terabytes from the one that I bought in from AliExpress. Just arrived yesterday. I put most of my time that day in order to check it out and see how it goes. So, how was the experience? Overall, it was pretty much like you will do it on a computer or a laptop. You had to remove the things. To give a little bit of a background for people that don't know, I'm a software engineer, game programmer, unemployed at the time of the recording. I have experience with building computers for a long time and also servicing some laptops as a side hustle on my uni days. And overall, I know how to go inside a machine and everything. It's not a problem. So the issue with me was really when I start first time to open a machine inside, you feel nervous. Especially for me, the smaller the device is, the easier it is to make a mistake. So, what I had to do was honestly not that big of a deal. It took me 10 minutes around to do the whole iFixit thing. Most of the time it took me to drain the battery first because I had it fully charged and I was like, "Oh, I need to have it 25%." So I had Path of Exile running for like almost an hour and then it will fully down. Then what I did was I did the process, I followed the guide, it was not that crazy of a thing. I got a little bit scared because one of the screws almost got stripped, but thankfully for some reason, even though it was the smallest ones, they needed a bigger screwdriver. So I used the bigger screwdriver and it was fine after. Now, that was not really a problem. Overall great experience. The tediousness was mostly on the software level. I did just fine. I got the image on my USB drive here. I got it all installed. It was all fine, but it was taking a really long time. That I was thinking that it takes so long to do the next step that it felt like the thing was freezing or something was wrong with the SSD. Turns out it was just probably this USB that I had was really slow, so probably that's why it was holding the whole thing back. Unfortunate, but what can you do? It took me, I think, 1 hour just to get everything running from getting like when I already had the SSD inside, it took me like 1.5 hours just to install everything through this. Then I had a little bit of a trouble of getting the 3.5 version. After a couple of restarts, it was fine. Now I have everything as I had it before, no problems with installing everything else, and pretty happy with it. So far, the performance, I feel a bit unleashed because of how reserved I was. For example, if I wanted to have Final Fantasy 14, it had to be the only thing in the SSD when I had the 200 gigabyte one inside because I had bought the middle model. And overall, it felt like it was great. Now, overall, for me, someone that knows how to use the machines and everything, it was not the problem, right, to do it. But I want to emphasize that I'm pretty sure there are so many people that are gonna get the Steam Deck 64 gigabyte in hopes of upgrading the SSD eventually. I hope Valve will make some official kind of guide so people won't have to search around. And I'm not saying for the replacement of the SSD. iFixit has done spectacular work there. But I'm talking more about what they're doing with how they show how you install the software. Most of it, actually, not most of it, all of it is community effort. Now, I imagine it's the same thing. Microsoft doesn't really show you how to format your PC. But yeah, that doesn't really mean anything. They can put a little bit of effort from Valve to have an official video showing how long you should expect for the process to take, for like having an average. If you're using a USB drive, it will take 1 hour. If you're using a hard drive, maybe it will take less, and a SD card or whatever. So they will have some options for people to understand that how long some things may take. For me, it took so long that I thought something was actually wrong, but it was just really slow from this USB. This USB was probably really old. So overall, I don't think it's a tedious process because really what you do is the re-image. You just press two, three buttons. It's not as tedious as doing a Windows formatting. Not at all. Not even close. But it will be helpful to just give a heads up to people that will get this device with hopes of upgrading, because I believe for most people, they will think, oh, I put the SSD in, because someone new will feel amazing after they put their first SSD in. That was my feeling as well. You will feel, oh, yeah, that was great. I did it right. Everything works. Because when you go to the software and you feel everything is slow, you will feel very uncertain. I saw this even on people that were doing the cloud recovery from ROGLI. They were getting worried when something was not moving, they were getting worried. And I can understand that. Because if you don't see anything move for like 20 minutes, at least if there was an official response showing that, look, if you do this, you should expect that this step may take this amount of time. Just to avoid people getting stressed over and feeling afraid of upgrading their system and sticking to SD cards, I would rather see, because Valve is doing so many great things for the community, getting feedback, making Decky plugins, integrating them into the main system and improving them. So all these kind of things are amazing. So these kind of things, just a little thing. It's not even like it's gonna take time for them to make a video such as this. It will just be cool to not, but I know the community is really helping into that regard. That's how I did it myself to make sure that everything was fine. But I believe that many people are not connected to the YouTube, right? Some are, for example, like my wife, she doesn't really watch YouTube videos. She will have to kind of do it in order to even think that she can upgrade. Or when she got it with the hopes of upgrading, she would hope for it to be easier to find the thing, not just scrounging around on YouTube to find something. And I'm not saying that having it there is bad, but it's just so much easier if there is an official thing, right? Just so much easier. And if something changes, it gets updated. You don't have to deal with how it was working back then, how it's working now, and all of those things. Because that's how it is with technology. Unfortunately, you have videos that may be getting older of how you change something, and then years later, when you try to find the same information, may have changed. But when you check the more popular video, it will be older, most likely. So that was really my thoughts. I just wanted to think that Valve will put a little bit more effort into showing how to do more things with this device, especially upgradability, because SSD, eventually people will have to expand. Eventually. Unless we start getting higher SD cards, I think that people will be more compelled to take a step and upgrade the SSD, because the SSD is very important as it keeps all the shaders and everything. I can't imagine someone with 64 gigabytes, the experience that they're gonna have for long term, having to always keep an eye out on the shaders, move it here to there, being slow because it's slower, also slower drive, all of those things. So yeah, those are my thoughts. In case you feel that what I'm describing here is something that is not needed, you can let me know in the comments. And for anything else, I hope you all have a great day. Like the video if you like it, dislike the video if you dislike it, and you can leave a comment if you feel that you want to say something. If you really like what I'm doing, you can subscribe as well. Have a great day, everyone.